Hey guys, I hope everyone's day is going well. Today we're going to be taking a look at the YoYoFriends area of effect. This yo-yo is actually an injection mold version of the original YoYoFriends Dove, which was made previously of palm plastic, and I'm super excited to be talking about it and also comparing it to the Dove. Without any further ado, let's jump right in. Okay, so as usual, I gotta give credit where credit is due. I want to thank Philip and the team at YoYoFriends for sending me this yo-yo, along with another one which I'll be reviewing a little bit later. I'm super grateful for their support throughout the years, and I really appreciate the generosity. Now, the area of effect is a pretty interesting yo-yo, so for starters, let's look at the specs of it, and then we can talk a little bit about the design. Okay, so now that you guys have taken a look at the specs, there's a couple things I want to point out. So for starters, this is a bit of a bigger yo-yo. It just feels big in the hand, and as you can tell from the specs, it's just a little bit on the large sides. But more importantly, I want to talk about the fact that this is injection molded plastic. So this is a different type of plastic machining than the traditional Dove, which was a palm plastic. As you can see, it's got this really kind of cool glossy finish that almost makes this yo-yo look like glass, which is awesome to see. Okay, so one thing I do want to note up front, they sent me this yo-yo before it was in production. And there's one key difference I want to point out before we get through the rest of the video. As you can see in the middle of this yo, they kind of have this finger spin area that they call a treated surface, which means it's a little bit smoother and easier to grind on rather than the kind of polished sticky version. It turns out that the entire cup of this yo is actually going to have a treated finish, which is going to make finger spins a whole lot easier. So just want to get that out of the way. Looking first at the shape, this is a really nice and wide, chunky yo-yo. I love the feel of this thing in my hand. It's got these huge rims right there, just like the original Dove, and in general it just fits super comfortably in my hand, which I love. It's got a nice open gap to land the yo on the string, which is awesome to see, and in general this is a more beefy, competition oriented type of yo-yo. Now moving on over to the cup, as I said before, that entire center of the yo is going to be a treated surface, which is a very smooth and almost frictionless surface to grind for finger spins. You can see we've got an extremely beefy, large, thick rim right there. That's going to deliver a ton of spin power and make this thing play a lot better. In general, I think this is a really good looking yo, and it definitely has caught the eyes of my friends and family who have seen it. The fact that it is so clear and completely see-through makes it almost, like I said, look like glass, which is such a cool aspect. I'm sure they'll be producing a ton of colors of this yo, but personally, I like this one the most. So on the string, this is a nice and solid yo, I have to say. And later in the video, I'll be comparing it a little bit to the original play of the Dove, but this is a very, very good yo for the price. So as you guys all saw in the specs version, the prices are gonna range from $1550 USD to $1750 USD, depending on the colorway. That in the yo-yo community is pretty darn cheap, which is awesome to see. This is a very, very affordable yo-yo, but I must say it is high performing. This yo-yo has a ton of stability, which is honestly no surprise to me because it's got such a thick rim right there, which delivers a ton of stability and weight on the rim, thus delivering a more powerful spin. Additionally, I'm a huge fan of this nice and wide shape. It just makes landing tricks that much easier when you've got a huge gap right there, and this yo isn't so large, so in general for a plastic yo, I think this is a great size. In general, in terms of how floaty or heavy this yo is, I really didn't find it swaying in one dimension. In terms of comparison to the original Dove, to my memory, I think this yo plays a little bit on the heavier side than the Dove, but only slightly, only a little bit, because in general, it's pretty middle of the road, and I found the Dove to perform the same. Now, in terms of its actual performance, I personally like the stability and feel of this area of effect over the Dove. Don't get me wrong, the Dove is a really fun yo-yo, but the fact that this thing is so wide and high performing makes it a really good experience throwing. I found fast tricks to be great, whips, hops, and slacks, those are all amazing with such a wide gap, and tech tricks are also really good just because this yo has a really great shape that isn't so big such that it would make it more difficult to land on the string. Regens and binds were really solid. The default pads of this yo were great, they performed really nicely with the normal string that I'm using, and so in general when I had those regens and I had those binds, they didn't snag too often and they also didn't slip, so kind of right there in the sweet spot. Now, in terms of grinds, I would say that with this kind of finish right here, finger grinds are going to be pretty hard just because of the fact that it is kind of a sticky, polished finish. It's kind of hard sometimes. You can have a really good looking yo-yo, but isn't great for grinds. It's kind of a trade-off right there. However, for finger spins, this yo is very good. So again, the yo that I have right here has only a treated or kind of frictionless finish in the very center of the yo. The full release model will have it all around, and I cannot imagine how easy it will be to hit finger spins then. Even with this existing yo having the treated finish right there and that nice center for finger spins, it's got a really nice divot right there. This yo is fantastic. As you can see, I could even do finger switching tricks with this yo, and I was really impressed with that. And so adding a treated finish to to the entire cup, I think it's just going to be an absolute game changer for finger spins, making them incredibly easy. Okay, I think that's all I've got to say about the area of effect by YoYoFriends. Once again, thank you very much for sending me this yo-yo and the other one that I'll be reviewing later. This is a really high performing yo-yo at an excellent price point, so I would highly recommend. All right, that's about it for my video. If you did enjoy, be sure to leave a like. Also, if you're new here and haven't seen my videos before, hit the subscribe button so you can see whenever I post a brand new video. I hope you guys all have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you next time. Peace.